Did Ryan Reynolds ditch Blake Lively at the premiere of Another Simple Favor to save his own career?
Strangers describe me as extremely disloyal.
That's so gross and weird and manipulative.
Welcome to CelebRush, your go-to spot for the juiciest Hollywood drama. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Ryan Reynolds knew if he stuck around any longer, his career would be the next casualty in Blake Lively's spiraling Hollywood mess.
Ryan and Blake both now realize if their careers are to survive, they cannot be involved in the same projects because everything will be heavily scrutinized.
So, where was Ryan Reynolds? That's the million-dollar question everybody was asking when Blake hit that red carpet alone, plastering on that perfect camera-ready grin like nothing was crumbling behind the scenes. But let's be real, nothing was fine. This was supposed to be her big moment, the premiere of Another Simple Favor. But instead of people talking about her, all eyes were locked on that giant Ryan Reynolds-shaped void beside her.
Insiders are spilling on the real reason why Ryan Reynolds left Blake Lively alone on the red carpet amid the Anna Kendrick beef, and it's all about money.
No cozy red carpet moments, no hand-holding, no power couple energy. And don't even try the "he was busy" excuse. This man has time to buy soccer teams, troll his friends online, and drop chaotic Instagram posts. But suddenly, when his wife needs him, he's just too swamped? Yeah, right. And of course, the media went into full meltdown mode. Was this a mastermind PR stunt, or were we witnessing a full-blown marriage crisis in real time? Turns out it's both. Because, according to a Daily Mail insider, Ryan and Blake had already decided if they wanted to protect their careers, they couldn't keep showing up together. Apparently, that SNL appearance wasn't just for laughs, it was a test to see if the world would still buy into their perfect couple act. And let's just say, the results? Messier than Blake's legal strategy.
Why did Ryan Reynolds not show up? I mean, I'm not entirely surprised that he didn't show up, to be perfectly honest, because this was Blake's contractually obligated appearance. She had to be there, guys.
Remember the SNL 50th anniversary special? You know, where Ryan Reynolds was just sitting there trying not to draw attention to himself when Amy Poehler hit him with a casual, "Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?" And his knee-jerk reaction? Why? What have you heard?
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds.
Hi.
Hey. Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
That wasn't just a joke. That was a man in full-on survival mode. The awkward, "Hey, Ryan! Hey! Hi! Hey!" That wasn't banter. That was panic. He already knew what was coming. The booze, the side eyes, the backlash. And, oh, did they get it? February 2024. The moment everything shifted. Ryan and Blake strolled into SNL, probably hoping the public had magically forgotten the absolute dumpster fire of a lawsuit she threw at Justin Baldoni back in December 2023. But nope. No one was buying the power couple act anymore. Sure, there were some cheers, probably from their own PR team, but the rest? Crickets and cold shoulders. But it wasn't just the side eyes and cold shoulders. There were boos. There was tension so thick you could cut it. And fans sitting there like they were watching their childhood idols burn their own legacy to the ground in real time. And guess who was absolutely livid about it? Blake. Insiders say she was furious because Ryan wasn't playing along with her "I'm the victim" narrative. He wasn't giving that ride or die, stand by your woman energy she was banking on. Instead, he was too chill, too casual, like he was just waiting for this nightmare to be over. And that was a huge problem for Blake. Because let's be real, she needed Ryan to look like the devoted husband, the knight in shining armor, ready to defend her honor. But instead, he looked like a man who was mentally packing his bags. And Blake couldn't have that. She needs control.
That wasn't fulfilling for me, that I wanted to be a part of the storytelling, that I wanted to be a part of the narrative, whether that be in the writing, in the costume design, in creating the character.
She needs Ryan to be the perfect husband, always standing right beside her in public, like a prop, not a real person with his own reputation to protect. And after that night, full-blown damage control mode. Because you know what? Allegedly, Blake started telling friends that Ryan wasn't taking her lawsuit seriously. As if it was his fault she went ahead with one of the worst legal moves in Hollywood history. Oh, Ryan, how dare you not act like your entire career hangs on my messy accusations? How dare you not spiral into chaos right alongside me? The nerve.
I think they do need to do their separate appearances if they need to do them. Really, it's about protecting their separate incomes, the source explained. Blake is unsure about the future of her career because of the backlash she has received. She does not want to have a family with no income, and she knows that Ryan's career has so far survived the fallout.
But here's where things get really interesting. After the SNL disaster, Blake knew she had to fix her image. And what's the go-to Hollywood playbook move for that? A red carpet moment, a perfect opportunity to look unbothered, successful, thriving, like everything is completely fine. But there was just one problem: Ryan Reynolds. She couldn't risk another public embarrassment like SNL. She knew if he showed up and acted even a little off, people would see right through her act. So what does she do? She ditches him before he can ditch her. Because if Ryan made even the slightest misstep in public, the illusion would shatter. So instead, she hit that red carpet solo, hoping everyone would just assume, oh, Ryan must be busy.
It's kind of, I wasn't that surprised that Ryan wasn't there. It wasn't his movie. It was weird that Ryan was there and it ends with us. If he shows up to every one of her movies that has nothing to do with, I think it would be worse reaction. I do.
Instead of people thinking, oh wow, maybe he just doesn't want to be here, Blake was hoping they'd assume he was just busy. And honestly, that's exactly what Ryan wanted. Because according to Daily Mail, Ryan was already reevaluating his entire public association with Blake after realizing just how much damage this mess was doing to his image.
And she knows that Ryan's career has so far survived the fallout. I would agree with that. It has. He's still going to be Deadpool. He's not going to lose gigs. I do think Blake will have a tougher time getting gigs.
Think about it. This is Ryan freaking Reynolds. The guy who built his entire career on being funny, likable, and scandal-free. A Hollywood golden boy who could do no wrong. And now he's tangled up in a scandal that's getting uglier by the second. Blake is out here burning Hollywood bridges, throwing accusations around like confetti. And Ryan? He's just sitting there thinking, yeah, I'd rather not have my entire career go down in flames, thanks. And let's not forget the biggest factor in all of this: money. Because if there's one thing Ryan Reynolds knows how to do, it's protect his bank account. He's got businesses, endorsements, and Deadpool 3 set to drop in July. The last thing he needs? A scandal that could tank it all. This man is a walking financial empire. And there is no way he's letting Blake's reckless PR disaster tank his earnings. Meanwhile, Blake? She's in full panic mode. She knows her career isn't nearly as stable as Ryan's, and sources say she's terrified that if this lawsuit keeps spiraling, she'll be blacklisted from Hollywood entirely. And let's be real, she's not exactly pulling in A-list box office numbers anymore. Her entire brand has been built on being America's sweetheart. And once that image is gone, what does she have left?
I do think Blake will have a tougher time getting gigs. Not because of a retaliation campaign, but because of her demanding authorship. Go make your own movies, Blake. Go make your own movie. You have the funds, the support, apparently. You have Hollywood friends who have your back, right?
That's why insiders claim she's been pushing Ryan hard to publicly stand by her side, to show Hollywood she still has power, influence, and credibility. But Ryan? He's not falling for it, because he's already seen what happens to people who stick too close to Blake when things go south. Look at Justin Baldoni, a respected filmmaker who overnight became public enemy #1 just because he refused to bow down to her demands. And Ryan? He's smarter than that. He knows exactly what will happen if he lets Blake pull him down with her, and he's not about to let that happen. At this point, the premiere snub makes total sense. Ryan isn't just skipping a single event, he's strategically backing away from this entire train wreck before it spirals even further. And the best part? Blake knows it. That's why she's desperately trying to control the narrative. Why she's out here putting on the independent strong woman act, pretending she doesn't need Ryan, when in reality, she needs him more than ever. Because let's be real, The truth is blindingly obvious. Ryan Reynolds didn't just miss this premiere, he saw exactly what was coming, and he ran. Blake Lively really thought she had this in the bag, didn't she? She came out swinging, filed that sexual harassment lawsuit against Justin Baldoni in December 2023, and expected Hollywood to just fall in line. Because, well, she's Blake Lively. She probably thought the second she screamed "Me Too," the industry would erase Baldoni overnight, exile him from Hollywood, and she'd waltz away looking like a fearless feminist icon.
The issue is, yeah, Blake Lively's done awful things to Justin and needs to pay the price in court. We'll find it out.
But here's the problem. She didn't...
But here's the problem. Blake never expected Baldoni to fight back. And not just fight back, he came for her throat. With a $400 million countersuit, he obliterated her entire narrative in one brutal move. This wasn't just some petty Hollywood lawsuit. This was one of the biggest celebrity legal battles of the decade. And then, things got even worse for Blake.
This person is not an honest broker. I believe her less than ever. I actually disbelieve her fully now.
In February 2024, Baldoni turned around and hit the New York Times with a $250 million libel lawsuit, accusing them of running a pre-planned hit piece against him before Blake even made her accusations public. Yes, before. Which means the NYT article wasn't just covering the story, it was part of the plan. Blake was out here playing chess while everyone else was stuck on checkers. And somehow, she still lost. Because the more you dig into this mess, the less it looks like a real legal battle. And the more it starts to feel like a rejected episode of Gossip Girl. And just when you thought this couldn't get any messier, we now have a full-blown cheating scandal. Blake Lively, Hollywood's golden girl, the actress who built her entire image on being the sweet, classy, perfect wife, turns out she was the one chasing after Justin Baldoni this whole time. And when I say chasing, I mean desperately throwing herself at him. Flirty messages, cringeworthy comments, stuff so embarrassing you'd think they were written by a 14-year-old fangirl. Blake actually told Justin to try it pregnant while commenting on his workout videos. What does that even mean? Who says that? This woman was so deep in her delusions, she actually believed she could get away with this. And let's not forget, Justin is a married man. This wasn't some on-set chemistry moment. This was a full-blown obsession. And when Baldoni shut her down, she spiraled. Instead of accepting rejection like a normal person, she flipped the script and painted herself as the victim. But the best part? Justin publicly denied everything. He straight up called her behavior unprofessional, and witnesses backed him up. People on set came forward saying Blake was the one pushing for intimate scenes. Blake was the one rewriting scripts to make things steamier. Blake was the one making weird, flirty comments, and when none of it worked, she went nuclear. She turned a failed crush into a full-blown legal war. And where was Ryan in all of this? Standing by his wife, defending her, probably thinking she was the innocent victim, until he wasn't. Because once the receipts started dropping, insiders say Ryan felt completely humiliated. Imagine being him, stuck in the middle of this PR disaster, believing he was fighting for his wife's honor, only to realize she was the one causing all the chaos. But somehow, Blake still wasn't done embarrassing herself, because when her lawsuit started falling apart, she pulled her most desperate stunt yet. She tried to frame Baldoni with a fake voicemail. Yes, a fake voicemail. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a recording surfaced where Baldoni was supposedly apologizing for making Blake uncomfortable. And the media? They ran with it. Blake's legal team waved it around like it was the smoking gun, proof that she was telling the truth. But here's the problem. It was complete bullshit. Tech experts immediately noticed something was off. The metadata didn't match. The pacing of the voicemail sounded robotic. The tone was all over the place. Some words even sounded choppy, stitched together, like they'd been pieced together from different conversations. And within days, Hollywood legal experts were openly questioning whether this was an AI deepfake. Do you realize how desperate you have to be to potentially commit evidence tampering in a $650 million lawsuit? Because if this is proven, Blake isn't just dealing with a defamation case anymore. She could be looking at actual criminal charges for fraud. And here's where things get even funnier. Ryan Reynolds reportedly lost his mind when he found out about the voicemail. Insiders say he was shaken and furious because, at this point, he's realizing he's been lied to just as much as the rest of us. Imagine being Ryan, risking your own reputation, standing by your wife, defending her, only to wake up one day and realize she was playing you too. And let's talk about the bigger picture here, because this isn't just about one scandal. This is about the absolute collapse of Blake Lively's entire career. She spent years crafting this perfect Hollywood image, convincing everyone she was wholesome, elegant, untouchable. And in just a few months, she destroyed everything. She tried to ruin a man's life just because he didn't want her. She manipulated the media to control the narrative. She faked evidence to cover her tracks. And now, she's watching her entire career go up in flames. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni is walking away from this stronger than ever. He fought back. He exposed the lies. He held his ground. And now, Hollywood is actually rallying behind him. Studios that once ghosted him are now reaching out. Industry insiders are calling him the real victim. Blake tried to destroy him, and instead, she handed him the ultimate comeback story. And Ryan? At this point, he's just trying to survive the fallout, because now, his entire brand is at risk too. If he helped blacklist Baldoni, if he used his influence to push false allegations, he could be looking at serious legal repercussions. And knowing Ryan, he's already planning his escape route. Because one thing is crystal clear. The Blake Lively train wreck is far from over. And Ryan? He's not about to go down with her. Blake Lively's downward spiral is moving at warp speed. But apparently she decided she hadn't embarrassed herself enough. So what does she do? She plans an ambush. Because apparently, manipulating the media, fabricating evidence, and torpedoing her own career wasn't quite enough. She had to drag Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds even deeper into her mess. February 2024. Reports start flying that Blake invited Justin Baldoni to her penthouse, claiming it was for some script discussions. Because somehow she was still clinging to the delusion that she could strong-arm him into doing whatever she wanted. But when Baldoni walked into that penthouse, he realized he had been set up. Because guess who was already waiting for him? Ryan Reynolds and Taylor freaking Swift. Can you imagine the absolute audacity of this woman? She knew Baldoni wanted nothing to do with her ridiculous rewrites. She knew he had already shut her down 1,000,000 times. But she still thought, you know what? If I get Ryan and Taylor to gang up on him, maybe he'll finally cave. That's not just desperation. That's next-level manipulation. Insiders claim this wasn't just some casual meeting. This was a calculated power move. Blake wanted Baldoni cornered, outnumbered, and completely boxed in. She thought that if she sat him down in front of Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds, two of the biggest names in Hollywood, he'd feel pressured into accepting her rewritten script. Because this is what Blake always does. When she doesn't get her way, she tries to bully people into submission. But guess what? It backfired spectacularly. Because Ryan Reynolds finally snapped. This was his breaking point. After months of watching Blake self-destruct, drag him into lawsuits, and turn Hollywood against herself, he suddenly saw the truth. He wasn't just a supportive husband in a tough time. He was a pawn. Blake had been using him this entire time as a weapon in her personal war against Baldoni, and he had finally had enough. And the fallout? Massive. Because after this whole disaster, guess who completely distanced herself? Taylor Swift. No more cute Instagram posts, no more dinner outings, nothing. She walked away immediately because she, like everyone else, was finally realizing the truth. Blake Lively wasn't a power player anymore. She was a liability. And once Taylor Swift is out, you know Hollywood is following close behind. Because suddenly, everyone was backing away from Blake like she was a burning building. Hollywood executives stopped taking her calls. Directors didn't want to touch her. And her brand deals? Oh, they started disappearing. Fast. First up, L'Oreal, one of Blake's biggest endorsement deals. Insiders say the brand is reevaluating their relationship with her because the last thing they need is their golden girl being associated with fake harassment claims. Then there's Chanel, one of the most powerful names in fashion. And guess what? They're allegedly having second thoughts about keeping her around too. Because when your brand is built on elegance and class, the last thing you need is a walking scandal representing you.
Wasn't in the best place. I told them that I was exhausted, that I haven't given myself time to recover or time to heal.
But let's talk about the biggest hit of all, her film career. Because the second Hollywood smells weakness, they move on. And Blake? She's looking real weak right now. Studios are hesitant to hire her. Not because of some evil retaliation campaign, but because she's simply not worth the risk. Directors don't want someone who will rewrite scripts, sabotage co-stars, and turn every production into a lawsuit waiting to happen. And here's the ultimate irony. While Blake is out here watching her career go up in flames, Justin Baldoni is having a career resurgence. Yep, the same guy she tried to destroy is now being embraced by Hollywood. Directors who once avoided him, now calling him back, because guess what? He actually has talent. And now, he also has a redemption story. The industry is rallying behind him, not because they love him, but because they hate being manipulated. And the second Blake's lies started falling apart, Hollywood immediately switched sides. And honestly, let's just take a moment to appreciate the pure karma of it all. Blake tried to take down a man just because he rejected her. She tried to manipulate the media, rewrite history, fake evidence, and ruin someone's life. And in the end, she ruined herself. Her career is collapsing. Her friendships are disappearing. Hollywood wants nothing to do with her. And Ryan, he's finally realizing the truth. The real betrayal didn't come from Justin Baldoni. It came from the woman he married. And that's where we leave it, for now. But trust me, this train wreck isn't over yet. Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because I know y'all have opinions on this one.